Kelsey Mitchell has finally broken her silence. After months of carefully measured interviews and polished press lines, the veteran heartbeat of the Indiana Fever has delivered the kind of raw, unfiltered truth that forces everyone to stop and listen. This wasn't the typical sports soundbite. It wasn't polite commentary. It was a truth bomb powerful enough to send ripples through the entire WNBA, a revelation that reminded everyone that real leadership isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about conviction. And in one candid moment, Mitchell changed the way we talk not only about Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, but about women's basketball itself. For years, Mitchell was the survivor in a franchise marooned at the bottom of the league. The early seasons were a grind, 6 years of endless losing, of being the player left to answer for 24-point blowouts and failed rebuilding plans that never seemed to materialize. She carried a team that, at its lowest, won only 5 games in an entire year. Night after night, she pushed a boulder uphill, asked to smile through press conferences while the rest of the league treated Indiana as a night off, a chance to pad stats and rest stars. Coaches came and went. Roster after roster was reshuffled. Through it all, Mitchell kept the flame alive, a lone star in a sea of mediocrity, the generator keeping the lights on when the building should have gone dark. And then came a seismic shift. Aaliyah Boston arrived to anchor the paint, a post-powerhouse who gave the Fever something they hadn't had in years: hope. Lexi Hull brought grit and stability. But nothing and no one altered the gravity of the franchise like the arrival of Caitlin Clark, the supernova who bent the entire sports media universe to her will. Suddenly, Indiana was no longer a punchline. They were headline news. National sellouts followed. Primetime games became routine. International media descended. Clark's impact wasn't just about points or assists, she transformed the very way people talked about the WNBA. Which is why Mitchell's words about her young teammate struck like a tectonic plate shift. Caitlin, she said, has changed the world, changed the dynamic of basketball itself. Let that sink in. This wasn't empty praise or generic "she's a great teammate." This was a veteran who had every reason to be bitter, the player who endured years in the wilderness, looking straight into the camera and acknowledging that without Caitlin Clark none of this happens. The sellouts. The global attention. The Fever's sudden relevance. All of it. And yet, what made Mitchell's statement even more powerful was what it lacked: jealousy. There was no bitterness in her voice, no passive-aggressive undertone, no trace of resentment that the spotlight had shifted. Instead, there was admiration, even affection. Mitchell called Clark not just a teammate but a friend. In professional sports, that word carries weight. It's not casually tossed around. It means the chemistry is real, that egos have not poisoned the locker room, that the brightest star hasn't dimmed the others but helped them shine. Mitchell's own game has flourished in Clark's orbit. Her scoring is as lethal as ever, but now it comes with recognition that once eluded her. After years of quietly being one of the league's most underrated guards, she was finally an MVP finalist, with analysts openly calling her season the best by any guard in the league. The national attention that once felt impossible has arrived, and Mitchell is thriving in it. Her stories of Clark's behind-the-scenes personality only reinforce the authenticity of their bond. Take the infamous fine tweet, when Clark joked about being penalized $200 for stepping on the court. Outsiders pounced, framing it as arrogance or immaturity. But Mitchell revealed the truth. It was classic Caitlin, funny, lighthearted, and full of love for her teammates. Inside the Fever locker room, it was comedy gold, not controversy. It was the kind of inside joke that signals trust and respect, the subtle glue of a team built on genuine connection. This is the dynamic that terrifies the rest of the league. Mitchell, Clark, Boston, and Hull are not just a playoff team, they are the blueprint for a dynasty. Mitchell even hinted that she would take a pay cut if it meant keeping the core together, an almost revolutionary gesture in an era when chasing the biggest contract is the norm. It's a sign that she sees what's at stake. Indiana is building something historic, something that transcends a single season. This isn't just a playoff run, it's the birth of a new power structure in the WNBA. Through it all, Mitchell has managed a delicate balance. She has never diminished her own legacy. She reminds everyone, subtly but firmly, that before Clark arrived, she was the one who held the franchise together. She endured the dark years, laid the groundwork, and kept Indiana from collapsing into total irrelevance. Without her resilience, there might not have been a platform for Clark to step onto. That is an undeniable truth. And yet she welcomes the future. Mitchell doesn't fear competition, she embraces it. Her words weren't a surrender, they were a manifesto. They proved that respect and truth-telling can coexist, that you can celebrate a generational talent without losing your own shine. In a league where rivalries and veteran resentment sometimes dominate headlines, Mitchell flipped the script. While some veterans and even WNBA officials downplay Clark's impact, Mitchell leans in. She isn't clinging to the old guard, she's building alongside the new. This is the Fever's warning to the league: acknowledge what's happening in Indiana or get left behind. With Clark's transcendent stardom, Boston's dominance in the paint, Hull's grit, and Mitchell's relentless scoring and steady leadership, the Fever are no longer an afterthought. They are the storm sweeping through the WNBA, a team whose culture of friendship and competitive fire could define the next decade. Kelsey Mitchell didn't just endorse Caitlin Clark. She embraced her. She validated her. And in doing so, she sent a message to every team, every critic, every skeptic. The future of women's basketball is here, and Indiana is leading the charge. What do you think of the friendship between Mitchell and Clark? Has Caitlin Clark truly transformed the sport, or are we only beginning to see her impact? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding story.